Hey there, this is Jennifer. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing another art journal tutorial. I'm working in my Dina Wakley Media Journal, which I love, and I've chosen one of the craft pages. And to begin, I'm starting with putting a fairly thin layer of white gesso down. And I'm not going to be too neat and tidy here or worry about coming all the way out to the edges of the page. I just want to get a decent layer down so that as I build a mixed media spread here, it will be able to take the paint and the moisture and be able to handle all of that. So I want to get it good and dry, and I'm very impatient, so I'm working with a heat tool here. You can let it dry if you're more patient than I am. And I have a focal image that I have decided on ahead of time. And it is one of the faces from the Dina Wakley Collage set. Which one in particular this is in, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but they're very easy to find online. So I've cut out the focal image and decided where I'm going to place it on the page. And I'm going to use something that I just purchased, and it is a Gel Press Petites set. And this particular one is a 3-inch triangle from that set, and I've decided to build a grid for this page. I don't tend to do well when I'm just throwing stuff on. If I have a little bit of a plan, I do better and I actually have more fun. So I want to lay out a quick and easy grid just that I can follow along as I'm building the page. You don't have to do this, obviously, but it helps me a great deal. So I'm using a Stabilo, I believe it's a Stabilo graphite pencil. I'll double check that and put the information in the description of the video so that if you're interested, you can find that information. But this particular pencil is great because as you go to paint, the pencil marks just kind of bleed out into the paint, not in a noticeable way, but you don't see the pencil marks anymore. So I've put my triangular gel petite on my Dilutions journal block, which is great for this type of application. You can also put rubber stamps on it, clear stamps, and the red rubber stamps that have the cushioned back will hold on there. And so I love my Dilutions journal block. So I am using a 6x6 gel plate on the side as a sort of stamp buddy, if you will, and brayering out some acrylic paint. Brand and color of these paints that I'm using will also be in the description if you're interested in that. So I'm just going to go through and reload my gel plate with the paint and continue in a certain pattern as I go. And you'll notice on the first one there that I pressed, there's some white space left behind. I'm not really going to worry about that. I particularly like it. I think it leaves a feeling of texture and additional interest on the page. Having a little bit of white around through the page too gives your eye a place to kind of follow. If it bothers you, you could always put some more paint back on there and press it back down until you get the coverage that you like. I'm going with it. So you can see I'm just continuing the same process. Once I finish with this color, I'm going to clean off all of my supplies and choose a second color, and I believe the second color is a magenta. Again, it'll be in the description, but I'm just going to reload my plate. There we go, reloading the plate with a beautiful magenta color. I love this color, and I think it really works well with the teal. But just following the same process. Just going to use my brayer to put that on. So we'll just speed this up for a second. You can follow along. marking out an area where my focal point will be, and behind it, that magenta, it's pretty dark, and I'd like to beat that back a little bit so that the focal point image, it's really clear, and behind it there isn't anything muddying up that image. So I've decided to put down a little bit more white gesso. I've just marked off around where I'm going to need that to be, and just going over it with a very thin coat. It really won't take a lot, and it's not really absolutely necessary. This is just personal preference, and you'll see there, I mentioned before how this pencil, a little bit of moisture, a little bit of paint or something, it just kind of fades away. It makes it very easy to deal with, and you don't have to worry. You can just paint over it and forget it. So I'm just double checking the area that I want to put this in. I think at the moment I've got this right face down, but you'll notice I figure that out in a second. And I'm using my very favorite matte medium on the market. This is DecoArt Media Americana Premium. I love this matte medium. I can't say enough good things about it. It's my go-to. So I put a little bit down, and just using an old junk brush, because I tend to forget to wash them out. Don't want to ruin good brushes. So I'm just going to put my focal point image down and get a really good layer of the matte medium, being sure to seal all of the edges so that it doesn't peel up later. And I felt like I needed some little something to move the eye around the page and continue that sort of black and white feel. And so I pulled out of the Dina Wakley Collage tissues. It's a sheet that has these little imperfect circles. I've just cut a few of them out of the tissue, and you'll see here they have some really neat little designs, sort of tribal feeling. So I've cut a few of those out, and I'm just going to place them in that stark white area, a few up at the top and then one down below, and hopefully moving that shape around the page will help the eye to move across. And just laying them down, I'm just going to do a quick layer of matte medium, and then once I have those down, I'm going to use my Stabilo All pencil. The Stabilo All is the one, if you're not familiar, that you can apply a little, like a water brush or a wet paint brush, and put a little bit of water around, and it moves with the water. You'll see it's new to me. I've only had it a couple of weeks. This is maybe the second time I've used it, and I really, really love it. It's a really handy little tool, and it's fun. So that doodling I just did is a Fude Ball pen, black Fude Ball. And here now I have broke out this Stabilo All water-soluble pencil, and I've just made a few lines here and there, and I'm going back with a water brush. And you can see that applying water to the pencil, you see what happens. I think it's a really cool effect. Another thing that I've known about for a long time that I avoided buying, but I really love. So I'm going around with the Stabilo and the water brush and just adding sort of shadow. It just gives it a little additional interest. And I started to leave this face totally black and white, but decided throughout the process I was going to add some scribble stick color. So that you'll see that here in a minute. I've added one more collage piece from Dina Wakley Collage Words. I've cut that out, and here is where I realized I made a mistake, and you'll see there I smudged some black. The Fude Ball pen that I used there it's not water safe. Putting the moisture over it, it smeared a little. I just went with it. Most of the smear is under the sentiment, which isn't ideal, but the stuff that went around, you'll see here, I just took a wet baby wipe and cleaned it up a little, and I wasn't going to worry about it. It's not the end of the world. This is my art journal, really is more for experimenting with products and just having fun, so it's not worth stressing over. So I'm adding a little bit of a shadow with the Stabilo and the water brush here, and I get this too dark. So with the water brush, you're able to pick up some of that extra, and I just transferred it down to the face below into the hairline, and then what I still felt was too much, I just dabbed off with a baby wipe. So now I'm breaking out the scribble sticks. This is the original first set that came out, and this particular color is Magenta. And I'm not going for realism. If you were so inclined, you could really take your time here. Maybe even add a little clear gesso over the face and then go in and really give it some detail. I'm not really into realism so much, so I'm just adding a little bit of color just so it didn't feel totally flat. This is brown. Ideally, you'd probably want something maybe a little more apricot. I don't have that particular set, but well, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Please give this video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and keep up to date with all of the new content. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.